like it would be like this Salak have a constitution. That's what
I know, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. So that's why your name's in there. So I wouldn't worry about it yet. We're just trying to figure
I was just wondering what it was. Well, because he said, he got it.
I forgot my name, dang it.
Constitution. He got that email.
Hey, Megan,
Page, I think,
do we have an open floor guest today?
Upside down.
It's not on there.
Oh,
and that's why you filled out an activity report.
well, he filled it out because he was like, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, then we said, I think they're listed, he's listed on, mine. But it's not, it's a department. So there's no constitution for it.
Yeah, no,
It's like, it's
that's why we wrote it on the board, because we need to get it figured out. That's less of a concern since you actually filled it out. We're just making sure that your organization is filled and have valid constitution by the big club, which actually is a new constitution, right, Charles? New constitution is in the works, and we'll be in contact, right? We're not too worried because you at least have active members. We'll get, I mean, by the end of the year, we will have conversations with you, but if you just keep working that.
It was pretty good. I actually didn't eat it all, so like I was just for later.
Right now it's me, but because our Senate transition will be on the 5th, as I'm in charge of being president, I'm in charge of setting up the new chairs. I'll try to do that as early as possible.
I was gonna pick it with you now too. I'm gonna corner everybody.
Do you think it was live tomorrow?
No, she didn't. It's on.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Ballroom?
No, in here. In here?
Yeah. Well, family got email too, so there's no constitution was given.
That's happened to so many times.
Because if you're on mine,
Yeah, you have to go to.
Don't do it. That happened to me so many times over spring break.
It's a center here, like business development center.
Tomorrow and doing
So
it.
success center, it's not a.
No, I want to like high five your head. Get Spillman. Get Spillman.
I made a motion to call Ed this whole meeting Sir Turtleman.
Oh my gosh.
I second that motion.
Yes.
I think it's the most beautiful thing I've seen all week. I can deal with this.
It didn't shine directly at you. I didn't.
It's okay. It's happened before.
Dude, I went in a cave. My friend thought it would be funny to tell me there was a bat right above my head.
Well, it sounds like you have dicks of friends.
Super not nice.
Super uncool, guys.
Oh wait, we gotta keep
I don't know why you do that to me. Normally Megan talks like a puppy dog, but I think it's Hunter. 0.5. I have a 0.3. They're in that limit, but I only buy them from these. Because at 0.3 you need that extra channel.
I have a lot of 0.7 left because I didn't read it the first 2 times I got left. So I have like 8 of them. The best part is there's a pocket here that I can extra leg. Like actually, it's painful. This is a shitty one. Drive, grow it, drive, job it. And it's really
Yeah.
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 Want to
Like
go?
this one, because
Oh, ass.
I don't think you could.
You need more
No, you
sleep.
were too big.
You need a lot more sleep than I do.
And then go to this is like, there's no
No.
other way.
I'm pretty sure I could throw you.
I would like run in circles.
Yeah, except there's this thing where I've been able to stay up for like 70 hours straight, and I think you would die before you can pull that off. You will sleep, I will not, I will catch you.
Thing is, I just go into a whole different level of insanity when I don't get more sleep.
Dude, I had the best.
I found 2 different pieces of mine, so I know how long I can stay awake.
I always used to just get me over The last time I got barbecue chicken cheeseburger, delicious.
Sometimes I put chicken cheese.
That'd be a pretty good one. And then another one was like, it's called 5 pepper pepperoni.
It's like they've got.
It's got pepperoni, banana pepper, green pepper, red
You
pepper.
wash your hair for like the first time and it's like, wow, it looks really clean compared to normal.
It's delicious.
It's because you combed it, didn't you?
See, that's those are the
You look like you did it.
those are the manners that they're outside.
I know, those are the ones that you're.
Oh, Sir Turtleneck, you're back.
Archer. His name's Archer.
No, Sir Turtleneck.
Mr. Jobs,
The tactical turtleneck.
Mr. Jobs.
That was the reference I was waiting for.
No, you look like an evil, like 007 Bond villain.
You definitely look like a villain.
Like, no, the minions.
Oh yeah, you could totally be Groot. Look straight ahead.
Oh my.
No, there it is. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Do you have a bunch of little girls? Are they adorable? Tell me you adopted.
I'll bring like yellow shirts for the people to the right.
This is why you're a double E, because you're E.
minions.
I knew you had all that heart. Okay, I was like, who is singing like that right now? I was like,
And you don't support
in the corner. I was like, get it, Pierce.
I'll see all that.
I heard his headphones. I was like, oh, right, this is good.
I'll probably get you need milk with those. You're gonna form up. That's what I like to do. I like to make
It's that up. People are like, it's updated on the camera, like, we can see.
Yeah, the really
Where the hell is Shabina?
Smash.
The last name, it's not like, look, this is, that is it, that's the name of my assignment.
Corey's in Philadelphia for the week. It's crumbling. Democracy as we know it. Patrick's like, yeah, it'll happen. I've been here so many times, the demise will be built back up ourselves. Power of my PhD. No. You're right there, Shabiner.
Oh, yeah.
Next time. What? Don't worry about it.
That brought me back to the Arizona lifestyle.
Just put a beanie on him.
Does it remind you of
No, it reminds me of, what's it called, Ghost Rider?
Oh yeah, Ghost Rider. It's got the red stripe. So I was thinking Shepherd. So I get
I don't know if you should ever say that again.
Hey, Spillman, are we
I know. I thought it was a good idea too. I mean, Noah's on the same train right now with me. You need to pay attention and care about bullshit.
Yeah, you can borrow my fancy pencil. Like $16.99.
Don't break it, is what you're saying.
I've never been.
That sounds like the biggest lie I've heard today.
Okay, everybody, we're gonna get started. Before I start the meeting, just in terms of the best interest of time, I'm gonna pass around the commencement speaker sheet. This has been wiped off from voting, so if you voted last week, please vote again. And this time, don't do your initials, just put a check mark. You can vote for up to 2 individuals.
May I ask why?
It's because last time the sheet did not get around fast enough in the meeting. Okay, so let's start with roll call and approval of classes.
Campbell.
Present.
Dexter. Engel.
Here.
Home.
Bronson.
Plum.
Here.
Knudsen.
Here.
Department Sci. Race Day. Shimada.
Present.
Spillman.
Here.
Speedtalk.
Here.
Dibble.
Here.
Shaw.
Here.
Bedekas.
Here.
Schumann.
Here.
Dosh.
Here.
Knott.
Here.
Rio.
Here.
Joseph.
Here.
Lopez. Wright. Alexander.
He's sitting next to.
Talking. And quorum is reached.
Can I get a motion to approve proxies? Senator Campbell.
Second.
Motion seconded. All those in favor start by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Are there any corrections or additions to last week's minutes or to this agenda?
It looks like we have an open floor guest behind us, don't we?
No.
Nope. Okay, I was kidding.
Seeing none, we'll move on. So for open floor guests, I actually would like to introduce the president of the debate club is here, Charles Carroll. He's not actually presenting, we're just introducing him. Tomorrow there's a debate here in the Bump Lounge at 5 p.m. It's basically on whether the Student Senate has preserved the voice of the student body and maintained their interests. So it's very interesting. I encourage all of you guys to attend. Do you have anything to add to that?
Mostly because I have heard about hate coming my way. I just want to clarify, this is a two-sided debate. There are two teams, one affirmative and one negative. I'm on the affirmative team, which technically means that I'm against. Weird, but apart from that, that's a clarification I just wanted to put out there. Just to ensure everybody that this is purely intellectual. It's not any kind of complaining or anything like that. Just purely in the interest of just basic debate. Thank you.
Thank you. So again, that's 5 o'clock tomorrow here in the Bump Lounge. All right. So moving on, we have no new business. So we'll move on to unfinished business. Resolution 17S007. So Senator Campbell.
As Paige she contacted Dean Mann regarding our concerns about the legal issues, and Dean Mann directed her to I'll get the name, Brian Schumacher. She's not heard back from Brian yet, and as such, she requested that I table this for one more week.
Second.
So I moved to table this resolution until next week.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion to table this resolution until next week? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Is there any discussion on this motion? Sorry, guys. Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of tabling this until next week, start by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, so motion passes. We will see this next week. Moving on to resolution 17S008.
It's under project.
So Elmore Bedekas, resolution number 17S008, March 15th, 2017, originated by the Finance Committee, presented by myself. As this is the second reading, I will not
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Senator Campbell.
Have there been any changes to anything since the last week's?
Yes, so what we did is we organized a finance information meeting last night at 5 p.m. I sent out an email. Actually, we had nobody show up. There were some people that were interested in coming, but they had something else going on. So, but we took the time, the finance committee, to sit down and look at a couple things. We did change a couple numbers, but very, very small. One of them was the Kenny Park, we increased by, I think, just a couple of percent. So nothing significant, but we looked at a couple things. If you'd like to plot the numbers, we have the far left, the Internet Explorer page, is the SOAP allocations.
Can you zoom in? That is discussion.
Hold on.
Control.
And put that down real quick.
I don't think so, because it's about to be approved.
All right,
Oh.
that's discussion on the resolution.
Never mind.
So these are
Senator Shimano.
are these all the things that you changed, or?
This is the current numbers. Now,
Yeah,
most of
no,
these are
most of
unchanged
these
from
are-
last.
Oh, there's still more.
Yeah, there's 3 pages.
Do you want to scroll down a little bit?
Yeah.
Senator Spillman.
I motion to approve.
Second. So we have a motion to approve, seconded by Senator Pavlusai. Roll call vote.
I said my 2 cents last week.
Moving to a roll call vote. Senator Campbell?
Aye.
Dexter? Engel?
Changing the lights so it makes it.
Setting.
Plum?
Aye.
Knudsen?
Aye.
Pavlusai? Aye.
Is that what you want?
Shimano?
Aye.
Just turn the lights on. Aye.
Speedtalk?
Aye.
Kibble?
Aye.
I'm gonna turn it back.
Aye.
Johnson? Schumann?
Here, aye.
Videkis?
Aye.
Dosh? Not?
Aye.
Real?
Aye.
Proxy?
Aye.
Right?
Aye.
Alexander? Aye. Looks like the ayes have it.
Perfect. All right. Moving on to resolution 17S009, organization deactivation. Do we have someone from this committee to present?
I believe we found a proxy in that vote.
Did we?
Did I forget a proxy? Did I forget anybody? Oh, I'm sorry. Proxy.
Aye.
Here we go. Sorry about that.
Okay, so Elmore Videkis, resolution number 17S009, 15, originated on 15 March 2017, originated by the Constitution Committee, presented by Senator Dexter. We're just in the second reading. I will not read it.
Senator Shimano.
Did any of these organizations reach out to you in the last week?
They have not.
All right. Senator Pavlusai. Motion to approve.
Second.
So we got a motion approved, seconded by Senator Shimano. Moving to a roll call vote.
Okay, Senator Campbell?
Aye.
Engel?
Aye.
Plum?
Aye.
Knudsen?
Aye.
Pavlusai?
Aye.
Shimano?
Aye.
Spillman?
Aye.
Speedtalk?
Aye.
Kibble?
Aye.
Shaw?
Aye.
Joseph?
Aye.
Videkis?
Aye.
Schumann?
Aye.
Dosh?
Aye.
Not?
Aye.
Real?
Aye.
Proxy forward?
Aye.
Wright?
Aye.
Trustee Giorgio?
Aye.
Alexander?
Resolution passes. Moving on to resolution 17S010, Vex Robotics.
More Videcus resolution number 17S01010, 15 March 2017, originated by the Constitution Committee, presented by Senator Dexter. Again, this is the second reading. I will not read.
Senator Spelman.
I saw somewhat of a difference between VexU Robotics. However, I do think there's still overlap between them and the robotics team. My concern lies more in financing two organizations that are, in theory, similar. Because I could see the argument either way if we walk down that avenue. However, I'm curious as to what is the current financial need of the robotics team. This is kind of more of a question for Ezra and the finance committee. And then how much of a need will it be for this VEX team? I know they talked about that one of these kits would just be $2,000, if I remember correctly, but I'd have a hard time believing that they'd only be asking for $2,000 a year. So I would love an answer to that question or any thoughtful remarks.
Senator Brooke.
Well, I guess all that I know is what probably everybody knows when they came and presented to us. I don't think they gave an exact number of how much money they're going to be taking out. They told us how much the robot cost, which, if I remember correctly, was a few $1,000, and I'm assuming that it would probably be something like that every year. As far as fitting into the budget, we always can do the best we can to work with new organizations if they're approved. I don't see that $2,000 would be devastating budget if it was a good club that we wanted on campus.
Follow up?
So my follow-up is to that. They said their robot is just $2,000. That's not competitions.
Yeah.
When they talked about their closest competition being in Minneapolis, that means there's competitions in California, Boston, Florida, Indiana, all around the country, and they said they only made it to one of these. So what if they don't make it? What if they go to only one competition, don't make it, yet they still ask for funding for nationals? So you see where I'm coming from? Because they could just make this into 5 trips a year, just for qualifying, then go to a national trip. Where do we draw the line on how many qualifying trips do we allow organizations to go to? I think it's very easy and clear cut for other organizations because civils only have one national conference. Chemical engineers only have one. Baja has maybe 2, and I think we only let them go to 1, or they only choose to go to 1. Same with alternative fuel snowmobile. So you start looking at those competitions, and then I presented with the question, where do we draw the line?
Senator Knudsen.
I have to agree. I think that, so they said they talked to the robotics team. They did not, they said they are on the IEEE, but they didn't talk to them about sponsoring this as a project. I know that IEEE likes to do little projects with robots, and if this would be a transfer of their little projects into one big one, I think they'd really be all about it. Most of IEEE is run by the computer engineers, not the electricals. This is right up their alley. Also, this does really mirror other organizations that we do have on campus. We never want to say no to kids doing anything on the campus, but on the other hand, we have a responsibility to other 120 organizations that are requesting funds from the same pot of money. It's just less money for them the next go around. And we're already cutting, I think the average cut was something like 63% this year from what was requested, like 46%. But it was the other way around, my bad. But it was very similar to last year's, and that's just due to the tuition freeze. But we have more clubs and organizations than other campuses do. So we do have active students, but we do have a responsibility to clubs that are already active.
Senator Campbell.
So a couple things. I think drawing the line, well, then you say we only fund one trip for other organizations. As such, we'll only be able to feasibly fund one of your trips. As for the difference, I do believe that there's overlap, but I can tell you from someone who looked at getting involved in the robotics club, there was a very steep learning curve, and if you don't have a lot of time to put into it, you're not going to be able to just be on the team. Like, it's as simple as that. Vex Robotics is geared towards more majors than just the three that are mainly involved in robotics, being CS, EE, and Senge, with some mechanical sprinkled in there. And the biggest thing for me was the fact that the robot is not autonomous, and so it requires a lot of user control. So you get experience on the computer science side of things doing that. So I think that there's a big difference between the organizations from like a technical standpoint, in my opinion. But I do agree that there's a problem with funding, and I think we all know this. But I think that that's a problem that we've looked at addressing via how we do so, looking at other organizations, so processes, and I think that that's something that we've all sort of understood is likely to come down the pipe. I agree that that's not that here, so you can't make a decision based off of something that could be in the future. But I think that if these people are doing something unique on campus, that they are drawing people, and I mean they have an active user base and could grow more, I think that they've proven themselves to be worthy of being a student organization.
So going on the budget issue stuff, we kind of set a precedence this year that we are only funding one conference. It is we will not fund a national conference until you qualify, and then you come in for a supplemental. So that stuff is out of budget, so there's not a wasted money in that area where you funded somebody for a national and you don't go, so now you've got an influx of monies in your account. And we only send you to one conference for you to try to qualify. Everything else is based on sponsorships or anything with that. But on the other side is we've so far through this year if people have been interested in a club, we have given them the go ahead for the club. So if we haven't told anybody that sorry you're overlapped, go try to do something else or go join that other club. We have given everybody the chance to join their club, and that's a precedence that we've set this year. That's all I have.
Senator Campbell.
What did you have?
I did. I think when we talk about only funding people to go to one thing, we just gave ICE money to go to Spearfish and another startup weekend. When you look at it, it's the same thing. If people wanted to go, they'd go to the same one, and you wouldn't have to drive people two opposite ways. So if I was going to walk in here with an organization, I'd make the argument that they're going to two conferences. So I feel, or not really I feel, but looking at that, I have a hard time, we're on shaky ground for talking about precedence there because that doesn't overlap. And just because we've said yes to everybody doesn't mean we should always say yes, because just shooting in organizations is great for people to be involved. However, if there's not solid transitions and structure added to organizations, it's very hard for that. And my issue is when you look at this organization, it is a young group of freshmen, which is exciting and awesome that they're stepping up to the plate and doing that. However, one of my greatest fears is with the lack of upperclassmen, there's a lack of leadership, organization, and planning that comes through 4 years at this institution. Freshman year is a lot of fun, it's just not as hard. And not until you hit sophomore, junior, and senior year do you truly understand how to manage your time appropriately, and there's a very steep learning curve to that, which I think is very much so involved in organizations and how you run organizations. So just looking at this from an outside perspective and being in other organizations, it's great that they'll have people there to continue, but it's hard for me to see the foundation being built for success in the future, and that is concerning.
Senator Campbell.
So I agree 100% with what you're saying, but I think that that's an issue that needs to be addressed. But at the same time, that's sort of what we do is we support a club and give them the opportunity to succeed with the understanding that if they fail, they will fail. As for, I disagree a little bit with what Senator Svitak said in that every organization that has come through, we have dissected to make sure that there is not too much of an overlap. We are not just willy-nilly pushing organizations through. I think that we saw that with LEAD. LEAD was very on the edge to go through, and I think that it was rightfully so. Now, Norbeck Uni is officially deactivated, so that's sort of null and void now. But I think a group of students like this who have made it to the World Finals represents the best of what we have at Mines, and I think choosing not to support them would be a travesty.
Senator Real?
I feel like there should be like a reward system for if you for after a few years if they keep going to worlds and stuff and winning, they should be allowed to go to more competition because we should be wanting them to create more competition because I feel like they're gonna get all right, well we're going to worlds, but what's next? There's not that next step for people.
Is that like universals?
No, I mean, but I mean just I mean more competitions to go to, not the same one over and over again.
Senator Shimon?
I don't think that's the way to go about it. If they're winning worlds, chances are they're going to be getting sponsorship from something way bigger than what we can offer. And in our current financial situation, I don't think it's very safe of a bet to just be throwing out award money for people, because then we'd be.
But we're not giving them money, we're just giving them.
Well, yeah, but in that respect, I don't think an award system would be the correct way to do it. On this organization, I see what Spillman says on the organization of the club itself. I know the people that have started it up, and they're very motivated, very driven, but I kind of worry about transitioning that off to somebody new. They're super motivated, and they're super motivated about doing it themselves. And I would say especially their president is all about doing it himself, and he's got to get it perfect. So. I would be kind of hesitant to see where this goes in the future. They might be doing really well right now, and they have a good name for our school right now, but I'm kind of worried about where it's going to go within the next few years.
So let's keep in mind that this discussion is on whether we want to pass this resolution, not about future reward systems for an organization. That's not what this discussion is about. Just so you guys know. Senator probably said.
So, I'm definitely for this organization. Yeah, they're freshmen. So, I mean, I totally agree with what you said. Nothing against it, but not passing this resolution, they're freshmen, they really want to do something, and they have spoken so much about fundraising. They said that if they do win the worlds, they will get a sponsor. They have kept all their options open. They have fundraise. I mean, use your parents' help financially to set up, but they've done it all by themselves. And if transition is an issue, there's so many people here. We as Senate can help them. We're here to help. I totally understand the financial aspect you're talking about, but finally they are also contributing to the finance. Definitely they should have the option of dipping into the fund. We have a finance committee, we have a CFO, and the finance will be given using their discretion. I feel.
Senator Sutak.
So a couple things then. So with the finances, if that's what we're worried about, if this is a team that can expand the university out, there's a lot of internal clubs that don't provide any outside recognition for the school. So I think it's, you could say, well, they have monies that are being used and they don't do any other well-being to expand the mission at mind. And then second, just because they're a young group of people, I've seen probably more clubs fail due to seniors just getting senioritis and having bad transitions that way. So I don't think just because you're a freshman you're going to have a bad transition. You're going to be here for more years, and you usually want the stuff that you started to continue.
So two things. The first one, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in here, but we've never not passed a resolution for any organization based off of finances. We've never done that in the past, and that'd be a new precedent we set today, unless you guys can correct me. And then secondly, has everyone made up their mind, or are we still arguing over a specific point? I'd just like to get this moving forward. Senator Spillman.
First point, yes, it's been discussed quite regularly. Second, motion to vote.
Okay, so we have a motion to vote by Senator Spillman, seconded by Senator Engel. Let's move to a roll call vote. Campbell.
Aye.
Engel.
Aye.
Plum.
Aye.
Knudsen.
Nay.
Prophet Asai. Aye. Shimada.
Pass.
Spillman.
Pass.
Speedtalk.
Aye.
Kibble.
Aye.
Shaw.
Aye.
Joseph.
Aye.
Bedekis.
Aye.
Shimon? Dash?
Aye.
Not?
Aye.
Rio?
Nay.
Proxy Clovis?
Aye.
Right?
Aye.
Proxy Georgia?
Aye.
Alexander?
Aye.
Shimano?
Abstain.
Spilling?
Okay, resolution 17-010 passes. Moving on to open discussion. Does anybody have anything for open discussion today?
I think Ed does. There's something right around the corner if I remember.
No, that's right now.
Senator, go.
So, I was snagged by Cindy from the Career Development Center, as Tony sent me. She had this idea that she wanted me to bring up. She thinks it'd be a great idea to replace the 2012 Day of Care sign that's right on the south side of the McKeel Room. Replace it with something that talks about the Mines discount program. Because it's an area that she thinks she sees that sign every time she walks by. If we put a great big poster that we put it off from someplace, either the IT department or someplace in town, we could really make students more informed about the discounts. So I told her that I would mention it in Senate.
Senator Stillman.
I totally want to hop on that train for yes, we do that. And secondly, can I definitely have that day of caring sign?
I don't know who owns it.
Dibs that.
It's like 5 old ladies.
So I was thinking, would it make sense to kind of pass the task of doing that on to student public relations?
I just wanted to do something.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll make sure we transition if we don't get it.
Okay, cool.
Senator Pedersen.
So, coming back to parking, the most fun topic. I got more than 3 people talk to me about an issue we discussed a couple weeks ago, and how there should be a proposal that allows all passes to park in the King Center during the hours the gym is open. Because they're tired of campus safety ticketing them while they're at the gym, and they've gotten 3 tickets in a week from them, and one of them they had no choice. I'm just reading out the message, what a constituent told me. And one of them, he had no choice but to get, because he was almost late, for the alternate thing, because of the ice and snow, or whatever. Like, I can understand their argument against it. There are times when it just doesn't make sense to drive back to Placer and walk to the King Center from school. Like, just go back and come back all the way immediately. They could also just limit to the outer spots of the King Center lot or something, like not the whole lot, maybe for certain specific times. This is like a lot of athletes, and 3 of them came to me on their behalf. Senator Shaw.
For speaking as an ex-athlete for 4 years and then coaching for another year, I understand the frustrations that they go through. I know exactly who you're talking about, that they got 3 tickets in one day. I walked in to talk to the safety guy, the chief, right after he was done talking to him, and he did limit the 3 tickets to 1 ticket. And then second off, he woke up late, that's why he drove up there. So I think that just shows a lot about some of these individuals who are complaining about parking, is that they're lazy and they're not waking up 10 minutes earlier to go walk the 10 minutes it takes to get to the King Center from Placer. I don't have a parking pass on campus, and I'm not one to complain about it because I park by Rocker, not Rocker, but on Kansas City Street. So I walk the same distance. Like, yeah, I didn't pay $150 for a ticket, but I also don't park right where I live. So one of the biggest reasons for the yellow passes is you can park by where you live, not on campus. That's why you get to buy the red pass, so you get to park on campus, not by the classroom. So that's the biggest sort of communication that we have going on with the student body. And then second off, President Wilson, quote unquote, like we have a walking problem on campus. Like, people are just lazy. And that's the biggest thing, and it just frustrates me. So with that, I don't think anything should be done with setting certain times for athletes, because that sets precedents with athletes on campus. And I mean, I don't feel like that's a biased comment being an ex-athlete, because I'm not for it. I know it'd be very convenient to have it, but at that point in time, if we set that for people who can just park up there, that means that I can park up there to go work out too, and then people will take advantage of it because I know I will too. So
Very good point, and I'd recommend all of you guys telling any constituents that complain about parking exactly what Patrick just said. That is exactly what we resolved a couple months ago, and it's just coming back to surface again. Do you have a follow-up?
So pretty much like, I'm totally like for the Senator John said. So pretty much this whole argument gets incited only because the yellow passes are more expensive than the red passes. And that's like the one reason that incites the constituents to make an issue out of it.
Senator Joseph.
Point of personal privilege.
Yes. Senator Shimmerman.
I believe the reason those passes are more expensive is because, like Senator Shaw said, they're right next to where they live. They get to park right next to where they live. That's why getting an overnight pass by the red passes by Peterson and Conley, that's why those are more expensive, because you're parking right next to your dorm and you can park overnight.
Senator Wright.
Point of personal privilege.
Yes. Senator Carter's not her personal privilege.
I'm gonna go take my test for me. That's your
Is there anything else for open discussion? Senator Campbell.
Did we hear back from Gina regarding some of the questions about the possible switch over to Outlook?
As far as I know, yeah, I will talk about that in a little bit. Senator Stoneman.
Did anybody find out about the chessboards?
I talked to Luke. He was never given up, didn't know anything about it. That's
Are you like the president of it or what?
No, so what happened is I joined it on the club, chess club on Rhineland, and that was it. I didn't use it, but no one ever contacted me or anything. Yeah, so that's why
Alright, Senator Dash.
Any word on the club?
On what?
No, but I will get back to you next week on that.
Wait, what did you say?
Update on the piano in the Quebec. Yes, Senator Cleason.
It is being shut down. There's a sign on it now, and they're talking to the music department to take it over there. I talked to Stephanie this morning.
We have nicer ones there.
Well, I believe it's just going to be either like scrapped for parts or sold. It is in poor disrepair. So.
Senator Shin.
Point of personal privilege.
Yeah. Okay, guys, anything else for open discussion? Seeing none, we'll move on to CFO report.
Okay, thank you everybody for approving the SOAP recommendations and the GAP recommendations. I'm really happy to have that over with. Now what's going to be going forward is answering questions and handling supplemental requests that clubs have. We just actually got a request from the Human Powered Vehicle team, which we'll be discussing tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be able to meet with the team tomorrow and then have a resolution ready by next week if we decide that's a good expenditure of money. Other than that, I'll be sending out an email to every single club on campus that applied for SOAP funding with the numbers that they received. I'll be working with Aaron Grimm on that, and I think that's everything I've got in the report.
Any questions? Nope. Okay, so moving on to Vice President's report. We're just going to go directly into the notes that Gina and I have together for President's report. So, commencement speaker, the sheet's being passed around. Has anybody read over and have questions about the proposed parking policies that were emailed out before spring break? They will be discussed in the newest cabinet meeting, which will be next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
It's the first Thursday of every month, so were there any comments, questions, concerns? Anyone not get that email? Senator Shimon?
When you email Gina sent
Yes,
I'll just send
it was before spring break.
I got it from Germany, so you probably got it.
Yeah, then I probably just didn't catch it.
If you guys do have anything, let me or Gina know by next Thursday. Does anyone have any further thoughts on the email change? Because as of current, we still have Google, and they are looking to switch all students over to Outlook. Have you guys talked to any constituents, any thoughts on what they think? Senator Kennedy?
Well, I have, but first I was wondering, did they give a proposed timeline for any of this?
No.
Oh, it's still all just looking somewhere in the future?
Last time I talked to Gina, she said there's no hard deadline and that they are still working through it, but most likely it'll be next year or two at the latest.
Yeah,
So
well,
it might be next fall at
okay.
the latest.
Well, speaking to people, especially regarding the fact that you can keep your, like we can phase it in, like we talked about, I have heard like literally no problems with that because really nothing will change for anyone who's here. The biggest problem that I foresee would be from a faculty standpoint, that if
Faculty already have Outlook.
no, right. So I'm just saying, making sure that they, use the right email address and don't try, but presumably the next freshman in or, whenever it gets started, would just have a different one, and so there's only one to access. So I haven't had any problems in talking to people with it, but I guess, if anyone else.
And I know we talked to Brian about making sure that we get the new email, there'd be an actual email in there saying how to use Outlook, how to use the new version of Google Docs and transfer your data and stuff like that. So, for all you people that aren't familiar with that. Senator Shimon?
So it's not gonna be phased in each class period, it's just gonna be one.
It'll be one hard.
And that has gotten much more negative feedback from my constituents as well. I think we're all under the presumption that it was gonna be phased in.
I can get back to you guys on that. I'm actually not sure. The way my understanding was that people that are still here would have two email addresses, and that freshmen would just have the new one. But if that is something that you guys heard, then I'm sure we can make that work, especially with Brian. Senator Campbell.
Okay. So first of all, I thought Gina said last week that they could phase it in.
Yes.
I believe she said that. But that, clarification on that would be nice. But second of all, if you do get a second email address and you're still able to access all the Google stuff, I've talked about that with people, and there's really not a lot of problem because still nothing changes. You forward your emails to your old one, and then it's all the same for you until you graduate, and then the next people don't even know the difference. But if you, I guess I was a little confused because I was under the impression Gina said that you could phase it.
I'll get back to him. Senator.
I went around and talked to like a lot of my constituents about this, and not a lot of them had a problem with it. So at least the freshman class, because we haven't had our count that long. So.
Okay, Senator Klum.
Do you know if the club emails will be switched over as well?
Yes. Senator Swinton.
All the graduating seniors think it's great.
All right, thank you. Senator Shaw.
Grad students would actually prefer it, so meetings with outside organizations, we will use Outlook, it's a lot easier.
As far as I know, it's inevitable. It's more they're just trying to get our input before it actually transitions. The final thing is just encourage everybody to do your Minds Advantage, guys, because next week is the final week, and whatever percentage we're all at as a whole counts towards our Minds Advantage competition. We've won it the last 2-3 years in a row. Every year that I've been on Senate, so let's keep that up, guys. Enter your Minds Advantage. Cool. All right. So moving on to committee reports. First up, we have Constitution. Is there someone?
Yeah. Okay, so this is all I got from Paige. So we're working on gathering all the constitutions from the activity reports and checking them over, making sure they're actually legit. And then we're developing a transition report for the person that will take over this. And then we'll also be reformatting the bylaws, and we'll bring that up next week. And then we're digging further into cyber defense to make sure that all the bases are covered before the semester ends. We just got a new thing from a new organization that's trying to form, and then we're also working on knitting club constitution changes. So that's it.
Are there any questions for Noah? Okay, moving on to governmental relations.
Okay, so I have a report from Caitlin. So petitions were due today, bios are due tomorrow by 5 p.m. She says that every seat will be filled and every class is contested. She's very happy with this. There's clearly more interest and higher participation. So she encourages everybody to go and campaign. With this many people running, she would like to see 900 students voting, if not more. The best way to campaign is to get out the vote, and then elections are next Wednesday. There's a sign-up sheet that I saw going around. She wants everybody to be aggressive while at the booth and not just sit there, so kind of pull people aside to get them to vote to reach the 900 students. A reminder that there is a potluck next Wednesday at the Senate meeting. She's gonna have Megan post pictures of what everybody signed up for. And then the other thing is the raffle. So she talked to the rocker shop and they may have to take so they could sell the tickets for the parking spot, but they might have to take a hiatus from selling the tickets during peak back to school timeframes. But by doing this, we could have a booth in the rocker shop and sit in there and sell the tickets. So, which kind of works well since you have all these new students, you can get the word out to them right away, and then they can sell them the rest of the time. The Senate would be responsible for printing the tickets and all marketing efforts involved in the project. But they do have a marketing or information specialist that could help coordinate some of the marketing things. The proceeds will be transferred via journal voucher to the appropriate fund on a periodic basis, which would be monthly, and the store would assess a 5% fee to cover credit card fees and store staffing. And that's all that she has for GR.
Thank you, Kelsey. Senator Stoner.
Does anybody know what a journal entry is?
Journal voucher?
Journal voucher? What's that? Anybody know?
I think it's just every month they would take all the funds from the tickets that they gathered and they would send it over to the account.
Okay.
Is what I got from it.
Senator Knudsen.
Just with regard to the elections, if you guys would just make an announcement in your classrooms that you're in, like each period you go to. I usually just talk to my teacher and I make an announcement at the very beginning of class before it gets going. I've been doing it for the department head committee search for the EE, and it has gone really well. We've had some of the best turnouts that we've seen in quite a while. A lot of the guys that are coming in haven't seen, like, they expected like 3 to 4 people there, and they've gotten 20, 25 to 30. So, yeah, person to person works really well, but just get the whole class, lets everyone know. Most people have their computers up anyways in class or doing something. They'll just take a second to switch tabs and do a quick vote.
Okay. Thank you. So moving on to public relations.
So we're working on updating the hard record discounts still. Do we have a Senator of the Week date?
Yeah, it's Brent.
It's Brent. Well, there we go. Congrats. So we're creating posters for the election next Wednesday, and as of this meeting, we will be talking about creating that hard record discount sign to replace the Day of Prayer sign.
Are there any questions for Wyatt? John? Senator Stoner.
Can student affairs also help with said poster for the promotions?
Sure.
Nice. Can do some.
Senator Campbell.
For anything you post regarding Senator Speetalk, I would just like to make an announcement that I have some wonderful photos of him in a Wookiee costume that I would love to send from our Christmas party, Senate Christmas party last year. So.
Do it.
Make sure those find their way into Kate's
They will.
Okay.
Senator Croxley Flores. All right. Moving on to student affairs.
So Rachel's not here, so it's my turn. So we got a poster done for the Senate meet and greet thing, and then we're also just gonna be working on our Senate update. Luke's doing a great job right now, writing down some stuff for it. We were writing last meeting. So you didn't write it in the actual document. But yeah, and that'll be going on tomorrow.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions for student affairs? Seeing none, we'll move on. Did any campus or ad hoc committees meet this week? Senator Fung.
So already had a meeting with the Constitution Committee, and I just got a report here. So the honors ceremony is on Friday at 11 a.m. in the ballroom. The platform reception is on Friday, May 5th at 5:30 a.m. in the ICE Arena. And then the commencement speaker is Marty Jackley. He's the South Dakota Attorney General, and he was a double E from a couple years back. Or, I don't know. The senior class speaker will be selected by April 7th, and then once they get those, Dean Mann and Senator Lopez will be making bios and sending them to the rest of the commencement committee by this Friday. So,
Can you send that to?
Yeah.
Pierce? Thank you. Senator Engel.
So once again, the science fair is next Tuesday, and they're still looking for volunteers for just judging projects 8 a.m. to noon. So if anyone can do that, just let me know.
Senator Spelman.
I can do that.
Senator Campbell.
Is that local, state, what
It's
level is
just the
that?
regional
It's-
state competition is.
It's like local middle schools and high schools.
Okay, second, are they looking for community volunteers as well as just school nights?
You can, if you have a contact with someone who's interested, just let me know and I'll make sure.
Okay, and just send them through sa.gov.
Yeah.
Good. Upcoming Senate business. The main one to take away, we have a Board of Regents meeting on Tuesday at BH, guys. Doesn't say what time we're leaving, but I'm guessing it's like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock-ish. We get a free meal at BH. We get to meet with other senators and the president, vice president. Pierce will be giving a speech. Well, I'll let you say that under doing announcements if you want. Sure. But he'll talk about that in a bit. So that's this Tuesday. And then elections are next Wednesday. And potluck is also next Wednesday, so make sure to bring some food. Cool. Moving on. Any announcements? Senator Kinsey.
So just so you know, Secret Santa is right around the corner. So people care. People care about this. It's a big deal.
I care more if I had a cookie.
Senator Alexander.
Yes, thank you. So I'm going to be running for executive director of the Student Federation. So wish me luck.
Good luck. Get it.
All right. Anything else? Can I get a motion?
So entertained.
He already said it.
I so move.
Okay. All right. So seconded, we have a motion to adjourn, seconded by Senator Engel. All those in favor, start by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
We no longer have quorum.
It's not official business, yes you can. So point of order.
There's
a poster.
Thank you,
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes.
No, I think that was. I just want to, if they post something on like Facebook, I want them to use your.
Oh, I've got a couple.
I said all of Facebook.
Charles. Sign that Democratic passion.
It's a little late, you had to fill out a. 4 today.
Internship applicants or something? Someone has to keep it in mind.
Government will be fixed because I just have to touch up.
No, we have the blind
That's why you're on board, right?
Anarchists will fix it from outside.
We lost like
Oh, I like how we use the word leadership so loosely. Did you not enjoy the discussion yet? I think that needed to happen.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did great.
You mean
People who voted against it were all on the finance committee.
No, I voted for it.
Thank you.
Good case.
no, it's not about the money, it's about the other organizations that suffer.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
But
everybody,
if you do that, then you gotta say, well, okay, we don't have anybody now because people are, everybody's gonna suffer.
I felt it was a duplicate organization, so I felt that creating a different organization.
I was like, I don't
It's
know
not that I didn't want a organization, freshmen, and it's nothing to do with that. It's that I felt it was a duplicate.
That's
Actually, Actually, what I heard was that you could be a robot in robotics. So kids robot, high school.
But that's
exactly what they
I think we figured
Yeah.
Still the same ethical thing.